Hi, this is Henry Winkler.
Hi, this is David K. Harbour.
Hey, Debbie Gibson here.
Hi, this is Chaz Palminteri, and you're listening to Marta on the Move. You better listen.
I'm your host, Marta Mazzoni. Join us as we connect culturally through lifestyle, travel, and entertainment. Hey all, welcome back to Marta on the Move. Before we get started deep diving into the conversation today, I wanted to take a moment to let you know that I still have some availability on my yoga sailing retreat in Greece this June 18th through the 25th. If you are craving adventure, a unique way of traveling, sailing in the Ionian Sea to hidden towns, discovering authentic food and people, and traveling with me. I'll be there too, guiding you through meditation and yoga. You certainly don't have to do yoga if you want to come. You can just sleep in on the boat. I have 3 spots available left, I believe, and you can reach out to me if you want any information about that. Also, if you are interested in improving your meditation practice or have never had a meditation practice, I am taking private clients, adding some more slots to my private clients, hosted on Zoom in your yoga practice, in your meditation practice. I would love to be your guide. I also invite all of you beginners or advanced people out there to join my Sunday stress relief class hosted online at 8 p.m. It is a pay what you can class to make it accessible to everyone, hosted on Zoom, and you can find the link in the post below. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I would like to talk to you today about working with feelings of self-doubt, inadequacy, facing your failures, and ditching comparing yourself to others. This is a subject I've avoided writing about or speaking about. I think it was unconscious, but now I am highly aware of it as I do more soul digging, some shadow work. And I'm aware of it because many a time in my life, I have suffered from self-doubt. I have suffered from something called Imposter Syndrome, which I didn't even know was a thing that existed until 2 years ago. My friend, I think my friend Rico Galliano, he has a podcast. He was on my show. He posted about imposter syndrome. And I was like, what is that? Like, what is imposter syndrome? And I keep learning myself about all of these things. And imposter syndrome is defined as the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. Yes, all that and then some. I totally get that. I get that all the time. This month in particularly is really, really bad for me. I would wake up in the morning with dread and sadness, with no motivation. Now, I mean, I know it's the anniversary of my sister's death. I know, like I'm still grieving and all of these things, but I knew something was nagging at me, and I realized it was my own self-doubt, pretty much revolving around the fact that I still have 3 open spots for my June sailing retreat. I mean, that alone is enough to like throw me off because the other ones are sold out. And the other ones are sold, like Sicily is sold out. Last year, Croatia was sold out. I have people that are excited for next year. I am humbled and I am blessed by this. But those 3 spots for the Greece June retreat that are not filled make me feel like a failure. I know. If you're, I know. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. I don't know how to sometimes get over it. And I posted, for example, that's not the only thing. There's many things. But for example, I posted a recent episode on how to build your own toolbox. to overcome anxiety and depression. And it didn't gain as much traction as I would have liked. And that makes me think people don't care and I should give up podcasting or anything like of this blog. I asked a question on Facebook and it recently received not that great of responses. Maybe people were annoyed with me. I get these feelings all the time. And once again, other things that pop up. As this all was happening, I saw a post from a girl that had 3,000 likes about candles. I heard about a friend that's having super, super high success with her own retreat, and it made me feel like a failure in my own. It made me question myself. I was seeing so much happiness online and so much success of others that for that moment, it had me questioning my own. And let me pause here and say that deep down, I know I am enough. I know I am making progress in my life. I know that I am in such a better place than I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even a day ago. I know that I have so much love, success, and joy surrounding me. And I'm generally a happy person. But even then, folks, even then, I was/am comparing myself to others is what it boils down to. That's what this all is. It's when you compare yourself to others, you will feel like a failure. And this got the better of me. People believe what they see, right? We see people online and they post about happy things all the time. And we don't know. We have no idea about their struggles as a human. We don't know how much it took for them to announce something on the internet that they were holding in for themselves. We don't know how they feel when they were offline. We don't know the journey that they have come to get where they are today or what they're dealing with in their life. We don't know about their feelings of loneliness or doubt. We only see the facade. And we now live in a culture that is hyper productive. It's a high success, high reward culture. It is not our fault for having these feelings of inadequacy. I say that to myself all the time. It's not your fault, Marta. It's not your fault. It's pretty much the internet. The internet's good, the internet's bad, but it's made to kind of make us feel inadequate. I mean, it just is. You look online, you see other people's feelings, and truthfully, not everybody is vulnerable enough to tell you what is really, really going on in their life because they feel like they're burdening people. They feel like people don't want to hear. They only want to hear magic and rainbows. They only want to hear about their successes. They constantly feel like they have to promote themselves. And I am not removed from that. It happens. Absolutely. You get caught up in the comparison game, feeling like you are not being as productive as you could be. And the real question is how do we stop feeling this way? What steps can we take to feel more confident, more radiant, more inspiring, more creative, and honestly, like the freaking unicorn that we are? Because we're all unicorns. And that main problem is comparison. The moment that we start comparing, we begin to feel doubt. It can lead to depression, sadness, lack of confidence. And it's the reason why I wanted to record this and be a little vulnerable here on my show and tell you of the things that get me mopey and down. You know, the things that make me feel like I'm not doing enough. I haven't succeeded enough. I haven't helped enough people. I was feeling this really hardcore after Neen died because I felt like it's my duty now. I have to do more for her. The struggle is real, and I know that there are so many others that feel the same way I do. So what do we do when these feelings arise? I wanted to pick this apart and just give you guys some tips that you can do when you start to have these feelings and you start to get into a funk because of these feelings. These are some suggestions. So if you want to write them down, whatever you want to do. But number one is shut down the internet. Take a break from your doom scrolling by placing some restrictions on the amount of time you are online. I know Apple has this option to shut down your social media and put it on a timer. I know Instagram is offering that. And maybe just announce it to the world or not. But if it makes you feel better, tell the online world you're taking a week off. You're taking 2 weeks off. You're taking a month off. You're taking a couple days. Being off the sauce will help you get a clear-headed mind. It'll show you the only person that you are in comparison with is yourself. That's really the only person we're in comparison with. And I'll touch on that in a bit. Number 2 is get out in nature. Take a long walk. I am an avid believer of walking to shake off the blues, and a little fresh air will have you thinking more clearly, looking up and seeing the sky, and just knowing that you are enough. Listen to some self-growth. I can't even say that word right now. Listen to some self-growth, there we go, podcasts or motivational speeches. Anything you can do to pull yourself out of doubt and into confidence is a win. And honestly, there are so many resources out there to use on the internet. I mean, if you're listening to this, you're already doing it. You're already like trying to find ways to not fall into that ditch. But I love Brené Brown. There's motivational. There's the Happiness Project podcast. 10% Happier is great. So try those on. The moment you start listening, you will feel better. Take a shower and maybe dress up. Really? This? Yes. It's a simple trick. You might not feel like doing it, but it works for me every damn time. Even if I don't feel like getting in the shower, the moment I take a shower, I feel better. And then, I'm a yoga teacher, so like leggings are a thing. Sports bras are a thing. They're just easy because I teach in them and they're comfortable. And who likes underwire bra? Nobody wants on it. But I don't want to wear it. But I will say, dressing up sometimes and dusting off, an old dress or a nice pair of pants or whatnot, maybe put in some makeup or doing your hair or putting on deodorant. Even that is dressing up, can be for me. So dusting it off, that jacket or dress, giving yourself a compliment, it'll just give yourself a boost. It'll give you a boost, make you feel better, make you feel more confident. And that is the key, feeling more confident. Number 5 is repeating positive affirmations. I am a huge believer in this. We, as people, have so much negative self-talk. It is constant. We are constantly swimming around with negative self-talk, and it doesn't lead us anywhere. It leads us to feeling bad, to feeling low, to putting us right back into the comparison game. And positive affirmations, for me personally, help adjust the way that I think and make me feel better very quickly. I use them in my private meditation classes. I use them on Sunday stress relief class. So if you don't know where to start, those are a good place. But I also, in this episode, stay tuned, I will give you some positive affirmations that you can write down and come back to, and they really do help. Number 6, create a list of daily wins. I heard this recently on a podcast. I can't remember where I heard this. Was it Gwendolyn Doyle told me? I don't know. I heard this on a podcast and I loved it. I started making this a habit because more than not, we forget the things that we accomplish in a day, and it leads us to feeling like a failure. If we can't focus on the positive rather than the negative, we're going to be sidetracked and we're going to be distracted and we're going to think that we didn't get anything done for the day. But you did. You got out of bed. That's a win. Getting out of bed is a win. Waking up, win. Absolute win. You have so many wins. And what I want you to do is write it down. Write down your wins, big or small. They all matter. Try writing them down before you go to bed at night, or even when you wake up in the morning. Don't compare each day to the other. Each one will be different, but it's going to be equally important to your growth. Phil and I now keep a gratitude journal by our bed. And at the end of it, I write my win, like one win from the day before. And it just helps me feel more productive. And feeling more productive makes me feel more confident. And it leads me to have less self-doubt. It's a big one. So I wanted to pause here and go back to touching on the fact that we have a tendency to compare ourselves to others. But I have recently figured out, and I kind of always knew, that I'm really less that I'm comparing myself to other people, because that's going to happen when we get online. It's going to happen, and we have to check ourselves and like reboot. But really, I'm comparing me to myself. And not just that, I'm comparing my present self to my past self. So get this. Sometimes I will look at my wins from my past and I will get negative because of my wins. If that sounds crazy to you, here, I'll unpack it. But the mind is tricky. It plays tricks on you. Marta will be sitting, and I sit, and for example, I will sit and I will think of all the successes I've had in the past, or one point or the other. And I have thought to myself, okay, yeah, you hosted that game show that one time. That was cool. But how are you going to top that? Everybody expects you to come back out with that. Or you did that treasure dive. How cool was that? You dove with the fishers on the Atocha. That's cool. But what are you going to do next, Marta? How are you going to top that? I cannot be the only person here that thinks that way. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think that way because I can't even enjoy sometimes the successes of my past, the wins of my past. And this is where it comes back to realizing that you're not in competition. You're not in competition with your past. You're not in competition with your future. The real key is to just be present and just know that you are doing as much as you possibly can. Everything that you're doing is a win, and you are loved and accepted for who you are. Humans are so funny. You have to laugh. Like, if you don't laugh, you cry. I have to study myself very often, and I wanted to move into how I overcome this when these feelings get to me. So I want to go back to the positive affirmations. Let's talk about those. Which ones should you use? I am going to list 5 of my personal favorites, and hopefully they will inspire you. But honestly, feel free to find inspiration for yours anywhere. Write them down frequently. Put them all over. Everything you own. Like, just put positive affirmations because we cannot get enough of them. Number 1, you are enough. You are enough. I heard this one, and I think it was Brené Brown that said it in my first yoga teaching certification course, and it blew me away. I never thought that I was enough. I never stopped to think that I was enough. I knew what I wasn't. I thought that I wasn't enough for anyone or myself. And so I bring this into my daily life over and over. I say it over and over to myself, and I teach it to my students. I use this affirmation constantly because it's a phrase that is so important. Because when we believe that we are enough, we can stop these feelings of imposter syndrome or self-doubt or lack of confidence. We can be confident. You are enough. You don't need to be more. You just need to exist. That's it. Number 2, you are exactly where you need to be to get where you are going. I love this affirmation and say it often because it's not about your past and it's not about your future. It's about now. All you have is now, and you are doing it. You are where you need to be. You're like, if there's something you're working towards and you feel like you're not moving towards it quickly enough, you are. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing at the moment you need to be doing it. If you binge watched Bridgerton, which I did recently, and it was great, and usually I would give myself a hard time about it, and I would be guilty, and I would feel bad, and I'd be like, oh, I'm such a lazy sloth, I didn't do anything. No, you have the right to not be productive when you don't feel like being productive. You're exactly where you need to be to get where you're going. Number 3, you are very powerful, provided you know how powerful you are. I love this quote. It's one of my favorites. It is a reminder that you have all of the power over your life. If you know that you're powerful, you have to know that you are powerful first in order to realize that you have the power and that the smallest changes make a huge impact in what you do. Number 4, I am worthy of good things happening to me. This one's big. We can stand in our own way. We can beat ourselves up. We can self-loathe. We can have regrets. Honestly, I could talk for an hour about this. This could be a whole other podcast on its own. You are worthy of good things happening to you. We all have regrets, no matter what your past is or the things you've done. Everyone is capable and deserving of good things. Everyone. So stop beating yourself up. Repeat this phrase over and over and over. And the last one is very, very hard one, but makes me feel better, is I am not alone. I am not alone. So often we can feel alienated from others, even the people we love. We feel people don't understand what we're going through. And it brings it back to seeing that facade online. Which, I mean, I know some of the time it's not a facade. People are happy they post about it. You know, it's authentic, it's genuine. But we don't see people's vulnerability. And it makes us feel very alone because we're very insecure as human beings. And that's normal. But everybody's insecure. It's not a secret. We're all insecure. Even the people that seem not insecure have insecurities. They're dealing with childhood trauma. They're dealing with their own issues. We don't see the dread or the grief that's inside another person. And therefore, we don't feel like people see us. But this affirmation saying, I am not alone, everyone has felt alone at some point in their life. And with the state of the world currently, they've probably felt it more often than not. And repeating this phrase makes me feel a whole lot better because I know people are out there going through the same things that I'm going through, relating to the same things that I'm relating to. And it's just a great reminder when you feel down or lost. I just want to take this moment to tell you to remember to be gentle with yourself. I want to take this moment to remind you that if you are sitting on top of a wave of grief, of just lack of motivation, of self-doubt, that it will pass. that it always passes. And I just hope some of these tools can help you pass that even more. And I hope you know how truly special you are and how loved you are, and that you can radiate confidence because you are worthy and you are enough and you're not alone and you're exactly where you need to be to get where you're going, and you are powerful. Repeat it. Say it to yourself often because it is true. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I would love to know about what you would like to hear about next. I had a couple people tell me they would like to talk about how to make friends over 30. Ooh, I love that subject. And I have so many juicy things to talk about with that. So I might be coming out with that soon. If you are interested, the past episode that I released about talking about building yourself a toolbox when you fall into depression or anxiety or when you're feeling low, go ahead and check that out. And it's a wonderful tool to have, and it really helped me this past year, and I hope it helps you. And once again, please know I am not a doctor. I am not a guru. Please consult your doctor if you need to. I am not liable for any of the things that you hear and try. I'm just a person sharing what has worked for me or hasn't worked for me with all of you, and remaining curious and remaining connected. That's it. Find me on iTunes, wherever you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, all of those places. Please rate and review, and please reach out and say hello. I would love to hear from you. Keep it moving, everybody.